If you've been struggling with anxiety, depression, brain fog, food cravings, or digestive issues, here's something surprising. The root cause may not actually start in your brain. Research has shown that signals from your gut could be misfiring to your brain, affecting your moods, your focus, your appetite, and even your energy. And when your gut is out of balance, your brain often feels it first. Today, I'm diving into one of the most fascinating topics in functional medicine, the gut brain axis. I'm going to break down how the gut and brain communicate, why it matters for your mental and physical health, the main pathways involved, what throws it off, and make sure to stick around till the end because I will share some simple, practical strategies to help your gut brain axis perform at its best. Now, keep in mind this content is for educational purposes only. Please continue to work with your healthcare provider to ensure the strategies that I present in these videos are appropriate for you. All right, let's get to it. Here's something that I find so fascinating. You actually have a second brain, and that's your gut. The scientists call it the enteric nervous system. Enteric just means gut. But it's a complex network of over 500 million neurons in your gut. And neurons are nerve cells that are also found in the brain that communicate to transmit information. For perspective, your gut has more neurons than your spinal cord. Your brain communicates with your gut by sending signals down the vagus nerve, which starts at the base of your brain and goes all the way down into your gut, and it has branches that go to your organs. Your gut also sends signals back up this vagus nerve to your brain. In fact, about 90% of the communication in this gut-brain axis flows from your gut to your brain, and about 10% flows from your brain to your gut. It's not just these neurons that are involved in these communication. Your gut is home to 100 trillion microbes, and that includes bacteria, fungus, viruses, which actually outnumber your own human cells about 10 to 1. For comparison, you have about 10 trillion microbes on your skin, 10 billion in your mouth, but over 100 trillion in your gut. These microbes aren't just sitting around hanging out. They actively produce substances that communicate with your brain that influence your immunity, your metabolism, and your mood. For example, lactobacillus species produces GABA, which is a neurotransmitter that calms your brain down. Other gut bacteria create serotonin, dopamine, and acetylcholine, which help impact your mood and affect your brain function and focus. Now, your brain also produces these, but the gut does produce some amount. While 95% of your serotonin is made in your gut, and serotonin is your happy chemical, most of the serotonin that's made there actually stays in your gut and has many roles in your gut by regulating gut motility, regulating appetite and gut sensitivity. Serotonin also supports your immune function by interacting with your immune cells because 70% of your immune system is actually in your gut. So a happy gut can lead to a happy brain indirectly by influencing your mental well-being. A small amount of the serotonin that is made in your gut does communicate to the brain via this vagus nerve, and it helps stabilize your mood and emotional health. Serotonin also is a hormone which can travel into your bloodstream from your gut to your brain, further impacting your moods. Now, this small amount can make a huge difference because our bodies are so tightly regulated that it can have a profound impact on our mental state. Tryptophan, which is an amino acid that you get from various foods, is metabolized by your microbes and it's converted to serotonin, and then that gets converted to melatonin. So these microbes are important for digestion and for that conversion of tryptophan to serotonin so you feel better, and melatonin so you can sleep well. The good bacteria in your gut ferment fiber and they produce short chain fatty acids. And there are three predominant ones: butyrate, acetate, and propionate. We now call them postbiotics. But these short chain fatty acids help heal your gut lining. They help reduce inflammation, reduce your appetite, and even cross into the bloodstream, reaching the brain to calm brain inflammation, or we also call it neuroinflammation. When your microbiome is balanced, you get calming neurotransmitters, anti-inflammatory compounds, and strong barriers protecting both your gut and your brain. When this is disrupted, it's called dysbiosis. And dysbiosis is where you have more bad bacteria than you have good bacteria. So then these harmful bacteria can fuel inflammation, create toxins and stress signals that affect your moods and energy. Let's delve into this a little deeper. How does an unhappy gut fuel anxiety, depression, and lack of focus? Number one is it creates inflammation. When these harmful gut bacteria overgrow, they can release toxins. One example of that is LPS, or lipopolysaccharides. If your gut lining is compromised, where you may have leaky gut, then these toxins can slip into your bloodstream and travel to the brain. Now, when you have inflammation in your brain, and especially if it's triggering the amygdala, then you're going to be more anxious. Amygdala is your brain's alarm system. It tells you, hey, something is up. Get ready. Be on high alert. But not only does the inflammation affect the amygdala, it also can affect the memory centers of your brain, such as the hippocampus and your prefrontal cortex, which plays a role in focus and decision making. So that's great in the short term for survival, like if you're running away from a lion. What happens is when we have chronic inflammation, this is always turned on. So it's like a hypersensitive car alarm that will go off even if a leaf drops on it. So when your brain is inflamed, it keeps you locked in this anxiety mode, this hypervigilant mode, and the signals become impaired to the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex. So it affects your decision-making capability and affects your memory because the amygdala is chronically being activated. So then you just feel wired and tired and brain foggy and just emotionally drained. And then what happens is, because it's always on, even if there's a simple little stress, you just feel anxious all the time, even in non-stressful events. Or sometimes it just triggers out of nowhere. You may have had the situation where suddenly you felt anxious for no reason. And this is because your body and your brain are inflamed. The second pathway is the vagus nerve. Your vagus nerve, I mentioned, connects your gut to your brain, and it's the longest cranial nerve in your body, and it acts as that two-way communication highway. So when your gut microbiome is balanced and you have the good bacteria that are making all the right signals, you're making the neurotransmitters like you're supposed to, and it sends an all clear signal up to the brain via the vagus nerve. But if your gut is off or inflamed, then it fires off distress signals that create constant static in your nervous system, and this leaves you feeling very uneasy and mentally sluggish and keeps you on high alert. The third way is through increasing your stress hormones. So a healthy gut microbiome helps regulate your HPA axis, which is your body's stress center. When your gut is out of balance, the system goes haywire, and that keeps you stuck in that survival mode. So you continue to feel wired and tired, and it makes simple tasks feel overwhelming. Now, what's fascinating is that certain beneficial bacteria like Lactobacillus helveticus and Bifidobacterium longum actually produce GABA, which is a calming neurotransmitter. And then there are others that produce happy neurotransmitters such as serotonin and dopamine, which are your motivation chemicals. Now, here's a very interesting thing where scientists conducted experiments where they transferred gut bacteria from an anxious, depressed mouse to calm, healthy mice. Within just 2 to 3 weeks, the previously calm mice began exhibiting anxious and depressive behaviors. They showed increased stress responses, reduced motivation, and even changes in brain chemistry. Most remarkably, their cognitive performance declined. They couldn't navigate mazes as well or remember tasks. This just proves that your microbes, not your thoughts, can literally rewire your emotional state. Anxiety, depression, and brain fog aren't just all in your head. They're all in your gut too. But the good news, unlike genetics, your microbiome is completely modifiable. By improving your gut, you will literally be rewiring your brain for calm, clarity, motivation, and emotional resilience. So now I'll share call steps that you can use to help restore your gut, which will then restore that gut brain axis. Here are 6 steps. Step 1 is you want to rebuild your microbiome with targeted probiotics. Now make sure before you start these probiotics that you check with your healthcare provider to make sure it's okay for you. This is just for educational purposes and is not a treatment. But not all probiotics are created equal. In fact, now they have something called psychobiotics, which are certain bacteria that have been studied that may correlate with reducing anxiety, depression via multiple mechanisms, but including impact on GABA, serotonin, and tryptophan. And what's remarkable is these good bacteria in your gut work by producing signals to communicate through our vagus nerve to the brain. And they know this because when they did studies, if they would cut the vagus nerve and give people these psychobiotics, they wouldn't see any benefits, or the benefits that were there disappeared after they cut the vagus nerve. So your action step is to consider targeted probiotics. Look for multi-strand blends that with mood supporting strains like the ones I mentioned, like that Bifidobacterium longus, Lactobacillus rhamnosus, and then also Lactobacillus helveticus. You also want to add fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, which they have to be refrigerated because those are active probiotics. Miso and kefir also are good ones. Now, if you eat these fermented foods and you feel worse, definitely check with your healthcare provider because you could have something called SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Step 2 is you want to feed these good bacteria with plenty of variety of colors of fruits and vegetables because they contain polyphenols and fiber that feed the good bacteria. Work your way up to 1 to 2 servings from each color group of fruits and vegetables. And those color groups are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, black, and white, tan, brown. So just aim to do 1 to 2 servings each day, or just make sure your salad looks colorful or your plate looks colorful. And also like beans and legumes, they also have fiber and polyphenols, dark chocolate. So you can also include those in your diet, but you definitely want to try to get a high amount of these foods in your diet. And you want to make sure that it's diverse. You don't want to just always eat green vegetables because then some gut bacteria might need the polyphenols from other colors of foods. And then when you feed the gut bacteria, they produce those short-chain fatty acids that help reduce inflammation and that also play a role in the signaling of some of your neurotransmitters. Step 3 is you want to add some brain-supporting nutrients. So omega-3s is definitely number 1 in my books for brain health and lowering brain inflammation. You can even get a test called an omega check, which checks your omega-3 level. And I usually recommend for my patients for it to be around 6 to 8. But you can even order that at a standard lab. You don't have to go to a special functional medicine lab. I order it all the time through Quest. You want to make sure you're getting plenty of B vitamins, whether it's through foods or if you need it through supplements. And these are B6, B12, and folate. There are some people that have a genetic mutation called MTHFR that definitely might need some methylated B vitamins, but work with your healthcare provider on that. You also may want to try incorporating some gut repair nutrients like L-glutamine or turmeric, collagen, or bone broth. You also might need some digestive enzymes if you're feeling bloated after you eat. Step number 4 is to eliminate the disruptors, and these are refined sugars, processed foods, excessive alcohol, and artificial sweeteners. The only artificial sweeteners, if you need to have one, that I would recommend are more the natural ones like allulose, stevia, or monk fruit. Monk fruit's also sometimes called erythritol, but I would try to avoid all the other ones like sucralose. There's conflicting data. Some say it doesn't bother you, others say it does, but I think anything synthetic is probably not good. You want to make sure you read labels because I was surprised when I first learned that a lot of the canned kidney beans have high fructose corn syrup. I mean, who would have thought? So make sure you really read your labels if you're buying like whole clean foods, but in a canned or frozen version. And then definitely try to avoid antibiotic overuse. Just take it when it's truly medically necessary. Step 5 is to strengthen your vagus nerve highway. So you want to do activities that trigger the vagus nerve. I did a video on it on my YouTube channel. If you want to watch about 10 ways to reduce your stress, it's basically gives you these exercises. But some things that you can do are deep breathing, cold exposure. So at the end of your shower, if it's okay with your healthcare provider, just turn on the cold shower for 10 seconds at the end of your shower, and that also can help trigger your vagus nerve. Sound therapy, singing, chanting, humming, those all stimulate the vagus nerve. Doing mindfulness work, whether it's through meditation or breath work, those all are very helpful. Step 6 is to support your microbes lifestyle. So you want to prioritize sleep. You need to get at least 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. You want to make sure that you are active. So you want to move your body, and it doesn't have to be anything super intense. Just go for a 15 to 20 minute walk, or if that's too much, start with 10 minutes after a meal. You can even just dance around your house and clean your house. That's really good exercise. And you feel good because your house clean, and then you're dancing around, so you feel happy because you're listening to music. It's a win-win situation. And then also just stay hydrated, because water is so important for our cells and for our gut, and maintaining the protected mucosal layer of your gut so that you don't get intestinal permeability, or AKA leaky gut. Some people, that first week when they change their habits, they actually feel worse than they feel better, because your body's like, whoa, something is different. But just as long as you're not feeling too bad, just make sure you stay hydrated. Check with your healthcare providers. Sometimes they'll give you guidance on electrolytes and things that you can do to try to ease into this transition. But most people, they will notice a difference anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. Some people it's a little longer. Some people it happens even after a week. It just depends on what's going on and how far off your gut is. But as you start healing your gut, you'll improve your gut-brain axis. You'll notice your brain fog is better, your moods are better, your weight is better. Sometimes it's not a linear path either, because we're human. Sometimes we resort to our bad habits, and then we have to go back and refocus. It's totally normal if you're not perfect and you're not just following a linear path. There's going to be ups and downs. Just accept that's how it is. Once you accept it, it'll be easier to get back on your plan when you fall off. I hope this was helpful. If you've been struggling with anxiety, depression, or brain fog, don't forget that it may not just be a brain problem. It may be something else going on, such as your gut. And fixing your gut may definitely help you feel better. All right, if you like this video podcast, don't forget to share it with others that may benefit. Subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks for listening or watching, and have a fantastic day.